Hello, this is Greg Oswald Ring Gregs, coming to you on the 15th of July, 21. Time on deck, 2900 hours Central Daylight Time. China has just threatened to nuke Japan. And I don't mean just nuke. They said we will use nuclear bombs first and continuously until Japan surrenders unconditionally if they provide just one soldier in defense of Taiwan in the event should China decide to liberate Taiwan. Really? Holy smoke. This is over the top rhetoric. What civilized country would dare make a threat like that? Yeah, China. You know, we've had nuclear weapons since 1945, used in war, that is. And yeah, they were used in war, but when has anyone ever made a threat like that? Wow. And furthermore, why do they do that? What's it really telling us? For one, I'm not quite buying it, but I'll get all into that. And we're going to do some analysis on just what this means. What does it really mean? And it also, well, hang on, guys. We're going there. Give me a second. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and bang the update notification bell and click all, because I bring you videos aimed to help you survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. These videos talk about things going on in the world, so you can keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel to see what's coming at you. I try to help you with that. I also try to help you know what to do to get ready for the bad times. I do videos about gardening. I do videos about worm farming, because worms are great resources to help you prepare and grow your own food without having to go to the stores, which won't be available when the grid goes down. You're going to have to be totally self-sufficient. And I do videos also about other aspects of prepping, and including, you know, hey, I've got aquaponics videos, I've got microgreen videos, other homestead type videos too. But most of my videos have been lately in this area of things about power grid defense, things going on in the world, what you've got to watch out for, and things going on even here in the United States, because we live in very perilous times. Threats from without, threats from within, and threats all around. Now, also, I do videos on how to eat free from the weeds in the trees, wild edibles, wild medicinals. And, you know, just in case that's not enough, and you probably will have a hard time getting enough that way, I do have a special for you right now. You can go to prepwithgreg.com, prepwithgreg.com, and you can find a special on this nice, lightweight, easy to store, easy to carry system from My Patriot Supply that has a special. And you find this special on prepwithgreg.com. $300 off a 3-month supply of food that's 2,000 calories a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You get desserts and drinks, a deal that will make you a winner. I mean, this is real food, guys. It comes out looking like real food. It's not mush. This is good stuff. I'll have to do some videos of preparing and eating this soon. But guys, it's hard to beat that. And also, if you click on, when you go to prepwithgreg.com, if you click on the My Patriot Supply logo, it takes you into all other kind of prepping supplies. Now, that 3-month supply is 6 buckets like this. You can get a 1-month supply, which is 2 buckets, and get $50 off if you can't afford the 3 buckets. So, and if you can't afford it, just go ahead and see what other prepping supplies they have. But guys, you got to get ready for what's coming. That's what I'm talking about. And guys, this is lightweight. It's easy to carry, easy to store. But right here is 2 weeks supply in this bucket of food, 2,000 calories a day. Can't beat that. Can't beat it at all. Now, it's good food. It's nutritious food. It's simply the best there is. All right. So let's get into this. Let's talk about what is cooking, what is really going on here. And so what happens? So let me talk just analysis side of this a little bit. I think China is bluffing. And the reason I think that is because they know the threat that Japan would pose to their plans to liberate Taiwan. They know that would make it liberate. Oh my gosh, to seize Taiwan. I was using their language. They know that would make it exceedingly difficult for them. I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna show you some stuff on this. They also that tells us a lot. It tells us that, one, they know the power of Japan. 2, they have actually said here first use of nuclear weapons. They had a pledge out there that said that China would never have the first use of nuclear weapons. Well, they just threatened first use right off the cuff. First use in the event that they're doing something seasoning somebody else. Wow. So much for all their, if you ever trust a communist, shame on you. I never bought that in the first place. If you really bought into that, no, they'll never use them first. Well, you might need just a little bit of help. Guys, don't trust them. Don't trust them at all. But furthermore, the reason I don't think they will do it is they know that the United States is treaty bound to defend Japan. So Japan's defensive forces are just that, defensive forces. And they've not been allowed to do a lot of things to the military because their constitution forbids it, so that they would not once again be a aggressive empire. Plus, they got a little pacifist after they got a couple of nukes dropped on them. So they readily accepted that. And General MacArthur went there and really helped Japan rebuild, but they rebuilt under our sphere of influence with a freedom-oriented society and became very prosperous. So we are honor bound to defend them because we've told them they couldn't do a lot of stuff with their military to start with. And, they're in our sphere. We have a strong treaty with Japan. That said, so China knows if they start nuking Japan, it's coming back at them fast and furious. They know that. So to be so bellicose, they're hoping that they can just scare Japan. I don't think the Japanese are scared. Why is Japan doing this? Because they fear not only would China go after the Senkaku Islands, that they would turn around and then go after Okinawa and then more. Because then once China has the military foot in Taiwan, they've got a heck of a launching place for all kind of mayhem and mischief, which they might want. And Japan is really concerned about this. They've been warning us and others, and they've written a white paper just this week talking about these kind of things. And because of that, they have said more or less that they would most likely defend Taiwan in the event of a Chinese invasion. And that's what set China off. But it also says something else. It says that China is seriously considering a military invasion of Taiwan. If they weren't, they would not have just went off the cuff with such bellicose statements like we never heard. Never heard statements like, well, we will nuke you, we'll use atom bombs first and continuously until you unconditionally surrender. Wow. 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 Well, China, I think that is going to backfire on you in the court of global opinion in all kind of ways. I think you just stepped on your real hard, and this is going to cost you dearly. Having come out and said things like this, nope. You are in trouble now. You have went way too far with this kind of threat, China, way too far, and you will pay for this. You have just shown your cards. You've shown us who you are. Some of us knew this, but most people just couldn't believe it. Now, China was such a nice, cuddly little panda bear a few years ago, or seemed to be. Yeah, well, it might have just had that panda bear clothing over that wolf warrior that's on the inside. They tried to hide it, but they figured now they had enough upper hand in the world to pull the wolf warrior out, which was a policy that had been talked about in the past, and it fits well within the Sun Tzu philosophy of the art of war. So I'm beginning to make a little sense now, right? So there you go. China seems to be on a very aggressive stand all over Southeast Asia, the South China Sea, the East China Sea, against the people of India and the Himalayan mountains. All these nations around the South China Sea, including other nations that we're allied with, like the Philippines. And then we have American citizens in Guam, and they've got missiles that they've developed called Guam killers. That's what they call them. And of course, also aircraft carrier killers. And they've done video depicting themselves attacking Guam. The people, the native inhabitants of Guam, are U.S. citizens. And we have major military bases with a lot of American citizens from mainland U.S., but they're all Americans, all of them. So there's a lot at stake here. And this really ups the ante that we may wind up in a WAR with CHINA, whether we like it or not. But I don't think that they would make good on this particular threat. So just kind of tell you what happened here. The Chinese Communist Party had threatened that it will nuke Japan if the country defends Taiwan. You know, in a video uploaded to the Zigao Video, which is a Chinese online video sharing platform of their military. So this came through their military, and everything comes out through this is approved by the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. China said that if Japan dares to intervene when it decides to liberate Taiwan, it will launch a full-fledged war against Japan, starting with attacks with atomic bombs. Wow. Anyway, so the video was uploaded to the Chinese military channel. Lu Wan Tao Lu. Excuse me, my Mandarin is horrible. Non-existent, okay? Let's just be honest, non-existent. But whatever that word is, LIUJUNTAOLUE. It roughly means military strategies. And on that platform, the CCP said that Japan even deploys one soldier, one plane, or one ship to support Taiwan, it will not respond in equal measure, but instead will start a full-scale nuclear war against Japan. We will use nuclear bombs first, and we will use nuclear bombs continuously until Japan declares unconditional surrender for the second time. Well, you know, I don't think Japan would even then unconditionally surrender to China, because they know what would happen to them then. They would be treated far worse than Uyghurs, far worse, and they know it. At least Americans went in and rebuilt them and put them up into a great, fast-growing economy. And they didn't have to spend this much money on the defense. But Japan still has a very interesting navy, per se. We're going to go into that here. So maybe I should just go in here and play part of this video that we're talking about. How about that? Let's do that. So give me a second, guys. Share. Pardon me. I don't have time to edit all this stuff, so bear with me a minute. There it is. Oh, by the way, this is being a Chinese government video. No government video is copyrightable, so I better not see no strikes on this one. Because this is a government video.
如果日本胆敢武力干预，哪怕出动
See, if Japan deploys even one soldier, only one soldier,
兵一卒一击
one plane and one ship,
一箭作战力量，我们不是
we will not return reciprocal fire,
对等还击，而是对日
but start a full-scale war against Japan.
本全面开战，首战用
We will use nuclear bombs first. Now see that right there. That goes against what they've told us for decades. Oh no, we have a no first use policy. You know, I did a video with Dr. Peter Vincent Pry probably about a year ago now. We talked about that. And we talked about why we didn't buy that. So yeah, all right, guys. And guess what? Some of us think China has a whole lot more in its arsenal than what's out there in the press, especially with all the missiles and silos and everything they're building. Yeah, I think they're packing a lot more than what they're telling us, and what the press believes.
核弹，连续用核弹。
We will use nuclear bombs continuously
直到日本第二次
until Japan declares an unconditional surrender for the second time. What's an Alabama flag doing back there? That's weird.
宣布无条件投降。我们打击的是
Yeah, Alabama ain't gonna be a part of it. Nothing on the Chinese side. That I promise you. All right, we're not going to play this whole video. I just wanted you to see that, guys. But guess what? Here's what China is actually afraid of. China is actually afraid of Japan in this part. That's why they made that threat. Japan's Navy is a lot more powerful than you realize. See, look at these ships here. Technically, the Japan's maritime self-defense force is a self-defense force designed to overcome the country's constitutional limits on armed forces. It is, ship for ship, the best Navy in Asia. Not have as many ships as Japan, but ship for ship, they're said to be the best Navy in Asia. This goes all into, hey, they may have an aging population problem, but it says they could give Beijing's Navy a run for its money, possibly, maybe. Okay, maybe for the Navy. So it goes on that, you know, the best Navy in Asia has 114 ships and a 45,800 volunteer personnel. Volunteer. It's not a regular military. It has a large fleet of fast, powerful destroyers, thoroughly modern diesel attack submarines and amphibious ships that can haul tanks and other forces. It can hit submarines, square off against invasion fleets, and shoot down enemy ballistic missiles. Despite all that firepower, this is not, in fact, a Navy at all, but an armed cohort of civil servants. Wow. Wow. They have high technology and they're well trained with it. Technically, the Japan's self-defense, maritime self-defense force is a self-defense force. Designed, you know, we said that. So it talks about 46 destroyers and frigates, more than those fielded by the United Kingdom and France combined. So this goes on and on, talking about what they have and assets. So we don't have to go all the way through this, guys. But needless to say, Japan's forces are nothing to trifle with. You said, but Greg, China's got far more ships than even the United States, and they got more than Japan. And so, and their forces way outnumber the forces in Taiwan. So taking Taiwan would be a cakewalk. No, it would not. Even if Japan did not come in, China would be very hard pressed to take Taiwan, because Taiwan, the island of Formosa, has which is where Taiwan is. It's also known as the island of Formosa. And Taiwan is also known as the Republic of China. It is a government of China that pre-existed and predated the People's Republic of China, which attacked them and ran them into exile. The Republic of China is an independent nation that was never, ever part of the People's Republic of China. It's not a breakaway province. It is an exiled original government of China that was ran off by the belligerent People's Republic of China, which is still belligerent. So there's good people in both Chinas though. Being Chinese, you know, so you got free Chinese and you got, you know, dictatorial rule Chinese. but Chinese people are Chinese people. It's just one side lives free and one don't. But the one that don't wants to take the ones that are free. And the ones that are free, they don't want part of that. They don't want any part of it. So why does one people think they got the right to possess another? You never do. They don't. That's not right. You know, that's a modern form of slavery. All right. So you can see I'm not exactly a fan of this reunification, liberation plan, as the CCP likes to call it. It's not liberation, it's conquest and enslavement. All right, so there we go. But even in mainland China, you're gonna find good people. Yeah, they're everywhere. In every city, hamlet, from every race, creed, or religion on earth. But the CCP is not an organization that promotes liberty. You know what I mean? Yeah, don't trust them for 1 second. They could, you know, they might want to clean our clocks if we're not careful. And we may very well get into it with them. I hope not. I'm gonna cover it in another video. I think there's things that we can do, even you and I can do, to help forestall such a thing from happening and to help prevent such a war, and also prevent some of the aggression coming out of the CCP at the moment. So so let's go back. Why is it that Taiwan would be hard to overrun? Because it's a hard to land on island. The beaches that can be landed on, that they can put forces on from mainland China, are very few and very small. There's only about 1 or 2 very small beaches. So it'd be very hard for China just to come in with a big landing force. And China's got to cross the Strait of Taiwan, 100 miles, in which their ships will basically be sitting ducks to be picked off by missiles from Taiwan. But once they get in there, they're going to have to really fight the people of Taiwan in their own land. And taking over another land like that is extremely difficult to do. A fortified island is hard to land on, is a fortress island. And going up against a fortress by an invader is extremely difficult. Military strategy usually says always use an indirect approach in combat. Well, they can't do that in this case. They have to do a direct hit. The Chinese philosophy is to launch their missile forces as much as they can and take out as much of Taiwan as they can to start with. Taiwan, of course, will try to survive whatever they could from that and come back up and hit back. So both sides have gamed this out as to what they would do. But if Japan saunters into the middle of it, it could be a huge game changer. Even though, of course, not as big as China's, with the fact that China is trying to hit a fortified island and another country comes in and gets them from the flank, wow, that could really clean their clock. And here's the other thing. If China fails to secure a victory in a fairly short order of time, the Communist Party at home will be at great risk. Why? Because it's put those little emperor children of China, because they got the one-child policy. And those sons are the only sons of so many families. And the Chinese people can only suffer losing so many of these little emperor sons. At some point, there would be huge blowback against the CCP. An unsuccessful Taiwan venture could end the CCP. I mean, totally end them. The people in China would raise up, and those guys would be in the gallows if they're lucky. So you can see a huge change in China real fast if they try this and can't pull it off. The CCP knows that, but also the CCP has kind of painted themselves into a corner, telling all their hawks, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and if they start backing off. In fact, they did back down a little bit, and the hawk people who, not everybody in China's hawks. I said there's good people everywhere, right? And war's horrible. We don't want war. We should do everything we can to prevent it. But sometimes a stand like Japan's might be the key to prevent war. In fact, Japan may be the key to preventing World War III. The fact that they've said they would go in and defend Taiwan might back China off. So China's bluffing right now, I think, but they're realizing that, hey, the stakes may be too high. They may have to back off. And maybe that's why they're so mad, because maybe they really were intended to go in and take Taiwan. Maybe they fully intended to go in and invade Taiwan, and now they're mad. They got their little in a wad, and they're griping loud, uncharacteristically loud. This is crazy what they're saying. Let's do some more shares here. Oh, I could have went out of screen here. See, there was a white paper the Japanese put out talking about the increasing Chinese aggression against Taiwan and their new, and they talked about what it meant for them. They talked about Okinawa. They talked about the Senkaku Islands and the fact that they really thought that they stood a chance of being hit themselves. So the paper also highlighted the attention should be paid especially to the trends of strengthening of Chinese and Taiwanese forces, the sale of weapons to Taiwan by the United States, and Taiwan's own development of its main military equipment. It is strongly hoped that China will play active roles in the region and in the international community that are more cooperative, in a more cooperative manner. It is strongly hoped that China will play active roles in the region and the international community in a more cooperative manner. That's the main point of this white paper. Now, is that such a bad thing? You see what got out of CCP, Chinese Communist Party, crazy, off the charts rhetoric. Holy smoke! I guess Japan hit a nerve. Of course, the Japanese, had suffered an invasion. Excuse me, the Chinese have suffered an invasion of the Japanese Empire back in World War II, and the Japanese were pretty hard on them. So they're a little sensitive too. But This is still, it's over the top. This is really political and it's a ploy, it's a bluff, I hope. But the fact that they would make such a bluff says lots. It says lots. It says that one, they want to take Taiwan and they're willing to use force and probably do it soon. It says that forget their no first use nuke policy. Well, see, that was, they just really stepped on it right there. Yeah, forget that. That's out the door, and they're willing to attack anybody. So watch it, guys. But I do believe it's a bluff. I really do. Wow. So you can see all this stuff here. China recently warned the State Department, our State Department, to stop all forms of outreach with Taiwan. Yeah. So this goes on and on and on and on. So here we go. This was before the video. Top Chinese people were saying warfare. China warns irresponsible Japan over Taiwan. You will lose badly. Well, now they come out and told us what that meant. This was a little earlier article. And you've probably seen this guy, spokesman for the CCP, so often explaining their position on things, Zhao Lihan, or how you says his name. But guys, it's not looking pretty. There's the Chinese aircraft carrier, the Liangmen, or how they say it. All right, I'm gonna stop the share. This is serious. Rhetoric like that should never be used in the international sphere. I don't ever recall hearing rhetoric that over the top. Yeah, Japan hit a big nerve in China. It's pretty obvious. But that's because the Chinese are probably really scared that Japan could stop them from their little aggression in this particular instance. Now, once they got Taiwan, yeah, Japan is going to be in huge trouble. And Japan knows that. This just seems to underscore it. It really does. I'll be doing another video on that in the future about how we could take the wind out of China's sails peacefully, totally peacefully. You can do it. I can do it. We just all got to work together to do it. Probably know what I'm thinking about. We'll cover this soon and some other things, but I'll also bring you this kind of news as it comes out. Yeah, I was wanting to talk originally about the riots going on in Cuba. I'll have to say that for another time and some other things. But this is something that's been festering all week long. This has been building up with this China-Japan thing, and I'd hoped to do the video on this earlier too. But when China came out so over the top, I just had to bring this to the forefront. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's pray these things don't happen. And let's pray that wiser heads prevail. But I do expect Japan to come to the aid of Taiwan. And we got senators of the United States, like Senator Cotton says, we need to end our ambiguity about this and say that we too will come into aid of Taiwan. And China ought to know full well that if they try to pull off what they claim, their days are over. It wouldn't be pretty though, not on either side. So let's hope they don't come to that. But let's do hope that their bluff is going to be called and they will stand down. That the wolf will bite his tail and run back in his den, wolf warrior. That the dragon will climb back in his cave and sleep for another few thousand years. All right, guys. I do believe we can have a successful outcome, but we are at risk. Very much at risk. Our future's at risk. This is why you need to prepare. That's why you need to get ready. Grow your own food. And also check out my links to my page, just my page supply. The link for that is below for prepwithgreg.com. But the True Leaf Market, so you can get seeds to grow your own garden. You really need to be growing your own food. True Leaf Market. And I'll be back selling worms not too distant future. But in the meantime, keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel, because my gosh, it's coming at us from every direction. But I'll be here to try to keep you informed as long as they let me stay here on this platform. And that's what I'm trying to do. But I'm also trying, and some people don't understand, I'm trying not to say things that's going to get me shut down. There's things, this is not a freedom of speech platform. There's things you can't talk about on this platform. It belongs to them, okay, fine. But I'm just trying to tell you enough. And the whole objective here is just to tell you enough so that you will know that we're in perilous times and to get ready, but also to give you hints of things that might come up, just to help you know what may come and when it may come. More on that in the future as it develops. All right, my friends, we're coming up on a weekend real soon. So I wish everybody a very happy, safe, and prosperous weekend. And the rest of the month of July, I will be back again soon. Thank you. God bless and goodbye.